Hello, my name's Amy from moonmindology.com, and today I want to look at Uranus in Taurus for all the ascendants. And if you like my content, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Uranus is in Taurus and it will be going into the sign of small business, economy, agriculture, and so there's going to be a lot of changes in these areas. And the last time that Uranus was in Taurus was between 1941 and 1948. This was a time where the economy was very unstable from the war. There was rationing and things changed a lot during this period of time. And I do believe that there will be a lot of this again. So Uranus enters Taurus on the 2nd of June 2024, and then it will retrograde back into Aries on the 14th of December. And then it will return to Taurus on the 19th of March 2025. And by then it will be clear of Aries. There will be no more retrograding back into that sign. And of course, Uranus will leave Taurus by July 2031. So that's 7 years that it's going to stay in that position. But I must drive home that unless you live another 80 years, you won't see this again. So this could be a once in a lifetime experience. The next time Uranus will be back in the sign will be in the 22nd century. So we can see some similarities between the economic problems of the 30s with the Great Depression, and it went, hand in hand with a lot of global conflict. And we of course just had a problem with conflict, a disease that strangely changed the power of balance of trade and commerce. And what did we see a lot of in the 40s? Aircraft production. So this is what Uranus is all about: flying, eccentric machines, electrics. And interestingly, the UK, the USA and Germany really ramped up their aircraft production, and it peaked in 1942, and that was when Uranus was in Taurus. So we could see the birth of electric or computer controlled warfare, something like that. Maybe even, let's go out there, flying cars. But I wouldn't be surprised if the military and the police start publicly using those, those dog-like robots that the MIT produced. Robotics, computers, this could be a really hot topic within the next few years. Of course, this also has a negative impact when we're talking about material goods, agriculture and public stability, as they're all rocked around by the instability of Uranus and its unpredictability. So Uranus is linked to explosions as well, which, it always happens somewhere, but this time it can affect small businesses, economy, and, it may not even be a physical explosion, but there can be some disruption and it could impact food and agriculture. So now, let's see how it impacts each ascendant. So don't forget to look at not only your ascendant, but also from your moon sign. So, Aries, Uranus is in your second house. So this could impact a lot of changes in your security, as well as your diet and your income. Domestic life can be subject to change, as well as your speech. Overall, you will need to watch what you say, as you could be prone to change your tune and change your mind, which can make you look unreliable. Make sure you eat well and don't consume bad things, and always try to stay healthy. Taurus, this is your first house, so there could be a lot of changes to your character, personality, sometimes your health, and even your appearance. So you may be constantly reinventing yourself and tweaking who you are. Just make sure that you are changing into somebody you like, but you may feel rather eccentric at this time. You may feel like you want to do something that is rebellious, erratic. You may be interested in electronics or something like that around this time. So these are all things that can affect you. Next up, Gemini ascendants. So Uranus is going to be in your 12th house. There could be a lot of changes, expenditure, and you may have a lot of opportunities to go abroad as well. However, this is the house of confinement, so there could be intermittent feelings of isolation as well, or being institutionalized, or visits to hospitals. And when Uranus was in my 12th house, I did spend some time in hospital. Cancer ascendants. Uranus is in your 11th house, which can mean that there are a lot of changes in your social groups and ambition. So you could find that your big dreams change in this time, and maybe you will no longer be focused on the things that you were before. If you get bonuses in your work, you may find that you have unpredictable amounts going high and low, or you can have peaks and troughs in your opportunities as well. So this can be bonuses, unearned income. So you may find that during this period, if you are interested in stocks and shares, it could be all over the place, high and low, unpredictable. Next up, Leo. Uranus is in your 10th house. So this could be instability and changes in your reputation and your work situation. You could go through a lot of bosses, or you can have eccentric bosses, or there can be some turbulence with fame or status. Uranus does bring highs and lows, so there can be big wins and big losses as well. But if you can transmute this if you are so inclined, and start to look at, Uranus, you may be changing your job to be working in something eccentric, something groundbreaking, something with electrics. If you're interested in that during that time, that could be a way to move it if you are so inclined. Virgo, Uranus is in your 9th house. So this is going to create a lot of sudden change to potentially your religious beliefs. There can be crises of faith, as well as situations that you may suddenly find faith as well. Your fortunes can also be unpredictable, so there can be highs and lows that do bring these belief changes. And there can be changes to your education as well that deals with university and higher learning. So there could be also changes and unpredictable, erratic things that concern your father as well. But there's a lot of wisdom to be found, and there's a lot of philosophical subjects to contemplate. It's all character building. Libra ascendants. Uranus is in your 8th house, so there can be sudden changes in joint finances, addictions, and there can also be chronic disease in some cases, but you'd have to check the rest of your chart for that. So this is really good if you work in research, especially electrical in research, especially if you're doing something very groundbreaking, something to do with seismology, research of all sorts, even banking as well. And this could be a time of transformation and personal growth as well. So this is a good time to think about maybe seeing that counsellor, maybe seeing that psychologist if you've got something deep rooted, because this is great for dealing with things that are hidden and things that are in your subconscious and have affected you for a long time. They're all hidden things within yourself that can be teased out in this moment. Scorpio ascendant. Uranus is in your 7th house, so there can be changes to marriage, and of course there can be ups and there can be downs. In some cases there could potentially be divorce, but not in all cases. I would say just watch out for rough patches. There can be changes, there can be some erratic behavior, but this can also affect change in business if you do have your own business, or there could be a change in business partners, and there could be a sudden change in the country of residence as well in some cases. Sagittarius. Uranus will be in your 6th house, so this can be sudden changes in health. So it's really best to make sure that you are staying healthy, as this is this is a house that signifies what you do in the daytime. So this can be changes to your work and to your competitors, and you can also be prone to accidents during this time. So caution is really advised here. I wouldn't make sudden decisions to make risky, or I wouldn't engage in risky activities or make sudden decisions to do stuff like that. And also be careful around places where they have earthquakes. Don't go out during lightning, because the meaning of Uranus is lightning and electricity. So, try not to sort of take risks, unnecessary risks, because there can be accidents during this time. Capricorn. Uranus is in your 5th house, so there could be a lot of creativity and genius ideas, and you may choose to gamble as there's potential for big wins, but do be prepared for big losses as well. And there could be time of sudden changes in education as well. Investments can go up and down, and there can be times of great enjoyment, but also times of boredom as well. Aquarius. Uranus is in your 4th house, so there can be sudden changes and impacts to your mother, and there can also be changes in your home or property. Sometimes there can be threats to your security, and there can be sudden endings to situations and events as well. Vehicles can also be prone to go wrong during this time as well. Seeing as the 4th house is the house of land and the home, and this is the planet of earthquakes and ground movement and stuff like that, check your foundations, and also, be wary of if you're in a part of the world where there is turbulence underground, then I would keep an eye out for that. I wouldn't take unnecessary risks with your house or with your car either. Pisces. Uranus is in your 3rd house, so there can be cases where changes impact your siblings and your communications may change, and you may find that you're taking up new hobbies, or you become even a collector of hobbies. However, your mental health can take sudden changes, and you may feel sometimes like you're being very brave, and then other times perhaps very timid, and there can be some unexpected short journeys as well. But thank you very much for watching today, and I will see you next week. Thank you. Bye.